XRP, there'll be no settlement if it's deemed a security. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health, mindset, and crypto coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And I'm about to be omnipresent on every single channel: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. You know why, Warriors? Because this is a critical time in history. And my mission on this earth is to help as many people as possible free their dome, to help them understand that this is the first time in our history, our living history, that we'll have the opportunity for the normal everyday person to amass a large amount of wealth, and from there be able to set themselves up for the future. So if you want to join our private Warrior Academy, access to my exact portfolio, my exact exit strategy, you get to fill out your own exit strategy, cryptocurrency calls 3 times a week, a deep dive call on Thursday. We're actually revamping the whole crypto part of our academy. And by November 15th, we're going to have a DeFi section, a beginner crypto course section. We're going to have a trading section, understanding trading signals. We're going to have deep dives, education in every single section to help the beginner and the person who's really trying to advance themselves into this crypto space. But the first thing we're going to watch is breaking news yesterday. Brad Garlinghouse. Now, this gentleman right here, Charles Gasparino, I believe, is one of the people who's really diving deep into the Ripple case and wants to break, all these different codes that we figured out as the XRP army for a long time. But Brad Garlinghouse was on Fox Business yesterday, and he said something very powerful, and I want you to hear it right from the horse's mouth. So he says, no settlement if it's deemed a security. Check this out.
Ripple CEO, tell us.
Yeah. Yes, Brad Garlinghouse. I can never say his name quite right. Good guy. We spoke to him yesterday. We asked him about his suit in the context of what's going on with the Bitcoin ETF and what the SEC is doing in terms of regulation. Listen to what he had to say.
I think it has had a stifling effect here in the U.S. Hopefully when we get to the end of this, there'll be certainty and clarity, and frankly, it could be a very positive thing for the XRP ecosystem and community that it's the one crypto where there is clarity and it is certain.
Do you see a settlement of your case in the works?
So that's really important, okay? That's why it's going to explode when it's deemed not a security. Whereas it is by far the most, I believe, one of the most cryptos with the highest amount of utility when this case is solved. My opinion only, not a financial advisor, not financial advice.
Look, I would love to spend less time on this and be able to move forward. The one thing that Ripple cares about more than anything, and really for the whole XRP ecosystem, is that there's clarity going forward that XRP is not a security. If that's not in the cards in a settlement, then there's nothing to settle.
So he's very clear. If they say it's a security, we're not settling. So this could drag out, Warriors, but I'll tell you what, the price is still going to go up. It's still going to skyrocket, Warriors.
Well, there you see it. I think, Liz, I think people at Ripple are actually annoyed that the SEC is approving a Bitcoin ETF while they're attacking their XRP and Ripple. And as you heard, no settlement unless there's that very fine point that XRP remains a currency and not a security, thus outside the SEC boundaries. Let's go to Adam.
And I think that's very clear, Warriors. And that's exactly why. Think about that for just a moment. That's exactly why I've been telling you guys the XRP case, the Ripple case, was launched is to bring in a new Howey test, Warriors. Ripple was one of the only companies, excuse me, my throat is all messed up from my trip, from the SEC that communicated with the SEC since its inception, Warriors. And then you have all these players moving around the crypto space like Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman, who are all consulting for cryptocurrency funds. Then you got Jay Clayton fighting for a crypto or Bitcoin ETF when he declined it every single time when he was in the SEC. And now all of a sudden, yesterday, we had our first Bitcoin futures ETF trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Think about that. The first Bitcoin futures ETF rises more than 4% in trading debut on the New York Stock Exchange. So shares of US Bitcoin linked to Exchange Trade Fund rose in their trading debut on Tuesday. The ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF, ticker BITO, jumped 4.8% to close at 41.94. The fund tracks CME bitchers, Bitcoins or contracts speculating on the future price of Bitcoin rather than the crypto itself. So just so you guys know, it's very different than buying the cryptocurrency yourself. You're speculating on contracts of the future price of Bitcoin. They're Bitcoin futures. You're not buying. So if you buy this stock, the BITO, you are not buying Bitcoin. That means investors in the ETF should expect the price and performance of the shares to differ somewhat from the price of Bitcoin itself. This isn't ideal for existing investors. Many of them take long view on cryptocurrencies and hope that for an ETF that would track physical Bitcoin that investors could buy and hold. Now, this is great news, though, Warriors, for the crypto space. Seeing this, so the normal everyday, baby boomer mom pa who are really struggling with transitioning into this new quantum financial system, is when they see it now on the New York Stock Exchange, it's everywhere, Warriors, everywhere. But I'll keep warning you guys. The word, like I think it's Crypto Mason says, we're one bear market away from being retired, right? Because when they regulate this, Warriors, it's going to be like the normal New York Stock Exchange. It's going to be normal 3% gains, 2% gains, 0.5% gain. Excuse me. You're not going to see these huge price appreciations. You're not going to see people making hundreds of thousands of dollars on a crypto punk or anything like that, NFT. So this is your opportunity, Warriors. This is your opportunity from here to 2025, in my opinion, to amass a large amount of wealth. And I think you're still very, very early to crypto. And I'm going to give you a little insight into how my brain works financially. So these are the things that I look at. I look at the macroeconomics. Okay. So Yellen says Treasury will extend extraordinary measures, will extend extraordinary measures until December 3rd debt ceiling deadline. Okay. Yellen says Treasury to extend extraordinary measures. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told Congress leaders Monday she will extend the extraordinary cash management measures to temporarily finance the U.S. government. Think about that. To temporarily finance the U.S. government. The new deadline for lawmakers to raise the suspension on the debt ceiling or the risk the first ever default. And I think that the debt ceiling has been raised about 76 times in our history. Congress last week approved the short-term debt limit increase, raising the borrowing limit to $48 billion after a lengthy partisan battle. But the agreement, which Yellen said provides temporary reprieve, did nothing to resolve the broader stalemate between the Democrats and Republicans over the debt, likely teeing up another showdown for the end of the year. They're going to approve it, Warriors. If they don't approve it, the economy collapses. But there's something else that is looming out there. And I'm going to dive deeper into with this, you guys, because I swear I'm going to be omnipresent. You're going to see me everywhere. I'm going in, Warriors, because I realized on my trip to Dubai that my mission is to help free people's minds, to open up people's minds to this stuff. And so you're going to see so much information. I'm really going to go hard on macro and microeconomics. So this is something that was brought to my attention by my mentor, Ken Mack. And I didn't even know this was looming. I had no idea. I don't know why I missed this, but I wanted to bring this up and show you this. And this is starting to hit the news in America. So why China's Evergrande crisis could be worse than the U.S. crash. So there's something looming in China right now with 30% of GDP at risk, 30% of their gross domestic product at risk, Warriors. 30% is massive. China's economy is more vulnerable to a real estate bust than either America's or Japan's when their bubble burst. So when Japan's bubbles burst, it was a nightmare. And then when ours burst in 2008, you remember what happened when Lehman Brothers, all that stuff went down. This is massive happening in China right now. So you have the world superpower right now, or the new superpower coming up, right? Financially has a massive crisis with this thing, the Evergrande. And I'm going to keep an eye on this for you guys, because what's happening is this massive company, I keep saying massive, is about to default. And they literally were able to just cover their payment, which I'm going to show you really quickly. So they were able to cover their bond payment, but they are literally in a position where this may collapse, Warriors. And if this collapses, so now we have China in a horrible position now with this Evergrande thing. That's 30% of their GDP that could collapse, right? You have America with the debt ceiling. We're an absolute disaster right now. So Is this all by design? I believe so. They're moving us to the new quantum financial system. They are so motivated to move us into the crypto space, into the blockchain environment, so they can switch the monetary system, move us into a CBDC, a control mechanism. And Warriors, all your financial freedom in regards to a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, that you have no freedom at that point, no financial freedom at that point. Now, what I mean by that is if you have gold, silver, land, and you're able to take your money and buy it, put it into companies that will help you a little bit. So those are the things that I'm going to be doing now. All of us are making our best guess as we move into the future, but I will be taking some of my cryptocurrency profits and starting to diversify because I'm heavy in crypto. As I diversify during this bull run that's coming, I'm telling you, I said it back into September, we're going to start going up, going into October, and then after October, it's going to move into altcoins, and then we're going to see, a nice little bull run here, and then it's going to start to come back down for 3 years into the bear market. So let's watch this last video to kind of open up your mind to this Evergrande disaster that's happening in China.
On the Evergrande saga. It's probably an update, I guess, unless you want to upgrade it. Eunice, you're not in that business, are you? He joins us now with
I will upgrade it, Joe, because there is some good news here. Evergrande has made its onshore bond coupon payment. This was $19 million. So that is an upgrade based on everything else that we've been hearing about the company. So that payment was due today, but it's still unclear whether or not Evergrande is going to be able to make up for a missed offshore bond coupon payment, which was supposed to be made on September 23rd. Now people are looking at Saturday as to whether or not the company can make this 30-day grace period and then avoid default. So today, state media were reporting that Evergrande was having some trouble raising cash, most recently with a stake sale of its property management business. So this was supposed to be a 51% stake sale to a Chinese rival that was hoped to raise about $5 billion. Now it looks as though it's falling apart. In addition to that, there have been several reports quoting sources as saying that Evergrande intends to prioritize the domestic market for its funds, where the stakes are perceived, according to sources, to be higher for the financial system. So in the past several days, the central bank has been attempting to reassure investors that Evergrande's problems are unique, that it blindly expanded and diversified, but that the spillover effect is controllable. So the messaging that people are hearing over here, including some foreign investors, is that from the authorities as well as from the company, is that the authorities are still not willing to directly intervene with any sort of workout program for Evergrande, and also that the priority of the authorities as well as the companies is going to be domestic focused. So the home buyers, the wealth management product investors, the local banks, local investors, and that the foreign bondholders are kind of lower on the priority list, guys.
Okay, so I wanted you guys to hear that last part. The foreign bondholders are last on the priority list, Warriors. There is so many people outside of China invested in this, Warriors. I don't know why I didn't know about this Evergrande thing going on, Evergrande thing, but these are things that are happening within our economy. You got China now in a position like America when we were in 2008 with the biggest housing crisis in history. You got Canada completely falling apart. America is falling apart at the seams. We are in a time like nothing before, Warriors. We get to experience something wild in our history. But what are the things that the people do during financial collapses? They move to assets, Warriors. So you're going to see a massive increase in gold and silver buying. You're going to see a massive increase in cryptocurrency purchasing. You're going to see a massive increase in land. You're seeing what Bill Gates and China is doing. They're buying up land, okay? Whereas you're going to see a massive increase in people buying businesses, pennies on the dollar, that are infrastructure businesses that have lasted the test of time. Whereas there's so much you can do during a crisis, just like they do. Do not let a good pandemic go to waste. So I'm going to bring you this information on a daily basis to educate you. I know this stuff isn't exciting as, Xrp going to $20 or Bitcoin going to 100,000, but you need to understand the micro and macroeconomics to make good financial decisions. You can't just listen to YouTubers saying that, oh, it's going to go to the moon every single day, because warriors, none of us can predict the future. But what we can do is make decisions today that can help our future for tomorrow. So I'm going to continue to bring that information. If you want to join the best private warrior academy in history, a community of people like-minded, just like you, that are going to help support you into this quantum financial system, click the link down below. You can join our free Discord, our free Facebook group, or our private warrior academy to be involved in the biggest shift in generational wealth. As we always say, warriors rise, get your shit together. Let's go.